Hey, Nicola here, and I'm alone. I'm the only one here today. Teresa is busy with some really exciting projects that she is going to be talking about. We're facing the Bitcoin chart. So in today's live stream, for those of you who are new to our channel, our live streams, we do some live technical analysis, which we're going to do of Bitcoin, Ethereum. And if you want me to do XRP or your favorite coin, it needs to go in the comment section now. So I'd love for you to say hi, stick it in the comment section. Otherwise, I'm going to skip that today. But I'm going to go over also some really important tips on margin trading. And in our live streams, we do the technical analysis, but we also give tutorials so that you can become better and better at margin trading and spot trading. So what have I got? I've got 4 tips on margin trading today. And I'm also going to reveal what I think the price of Bitcoin could be in October and November, and how far down we're going to go in this current dip that is happening. So if that sounds exciting to you, that's going to be helpful for you making decisions so you can become more profitable with your trades. Love for you to like that like button, click it away. And if you're new to the channel, hit subscribe, click the bell and all, so that you are going to get the notifications of the tutorial videos we upload every day and our live streams that we do every week. And just before we get on to those margin tips, then live analysis for Bitcoin and Ethereum, reminding you tomorrow's the last day to get the early bird special on our Conscious Crypto event. This is 3 days of training for you to get the right mindset, the right strategies, the right altcoin strategies, the right exit strategies, the right psychology to create life-changing wealth in this super cycle. We've got speakers, Da Vinci J15, who I just got interviewed by today, by the way. We did a really good interview, which I will post a link below for you. MMCrypto, Crypto Wendy, Jeroen van Langer, and the Bitcoin family, top traders on the internet. We're going to be talking about mindset and psychology with Cien and Stephanie, going offshore, setting up right for minimization of your tax structures with Michael as Offshore Citizen and Emery from Tax.Crypto. Dan from Digital Asset News is coming on to help us with our Bitcoin exit strategies. And Lisa's going to be giving us some really important dates to watch for Bitcoin pumps and dumps in October, November, December, all the way through to April next year. So you're going to want to be there. It's for people who have the goal to create life-changing wealth through crypto. If you're just beginning, this is going to save you a lot of loss because you're going to get all the right information to get set up properly. And if you are experienced, you're going to get some advanced strategies and the opportunity to talk to some of these traders directly through our Q&A, because this is an online event. Tickets for the early bird special end tomorrow, and then we are at our full price so that you can't drag your feet if you want to be here. So let's get on to margin trading tips, and I'm going to use them to show you how it works as we look at the live technical analysis with Bitcoin. And as I said, if you want me to do XRP or your favorite coin, stick that in the comment section now for me. So the number 1 tip when you're margin trading, and this is especially for beginners, each trade that you do with margin, i.e. you're doing a leverage trade of 2x, 10x, whatever the X is, so that you're borrowing off of the exchange to increase the amount that you're trading and therefore increase the amount of coin that you're going to get in the end of it if it's successful, is that you don't use more than 2 to 10% of your trading portfolio per trade. If you're beginning, 2%. Once you get confident and you start winning, 5%. If you start getting experienced and you're profitable, 10%. Because remember, if your trade is not profitable, you're losing 10% or you're losing 5% or 2%. And if you trade with just about all of your portfolio, you lose all of your portfolio if you get it wrong or the market turns on you when you're not looking. So that's how we manage risk, by going in small. The second tip is to you enter with low leverage unless you have high volume and confidence that we're going to take off from your entry point. If you do that, it means you're not going to get stopped out. And a lot of traders you see who are doing 100x, 50x, 30x, they didn't start the trade there. They started with a 10x or a 5x, maybe even a 3x. And as the price action starts taking off, you up your leverage and you add to your position. So it's a bigger position because we know it's a winning trade. And this is another way of managing risk so that you don't lose. Because if you put in 100x right from the start, you can lose 100x if it quickly turns on you. And we know with Bitcoin, that happens a lot, doesn't it? So that's number 2. Number 3 is, I've mentioned number 3, scale in your leverage and scale in your margin if the trade starts to take off. And then the fourth one, which should really be the first one, which we're going to look at right now live with price action, is make sure when you're doing a long, you're entering in a long trade, you're entering from a bounce off of a support line, not in the middle of a pattern and not halfway through the move, because those are the times when price action can roll over and you can end up being in getting stopped out, getting liquidated, or in a losing trade. So let's have a look at Bitcoin. I'm on the daily and I actually want to go to the weekly, just to show you this big pattern that we're in here. This is the red line at the bottom of support, red line at the top for resistance. And we've been traveling down in a narrowing wedge, which in theory isn't due to break out, and it's pretty steep. It's not actually due to break out until around the 15th of November. Now, I don't think we're going to play this scenario out myself personally, but that's just me. And the reason I think that is because we've been finding quite a bit of support here at the 39,740, let's say, support line. And I think if we keep that, I think we're not going down to the bottom of this triangle. Because I think we're just retesting this. Because have a look, during those 2.5 months that we just went on and on and on and on and never coming up above, now we're retesting it as support. It just makes sense to me. We could wick down lower, but I don't think we'll trade down there for much time. So now let's go close in. Here is the descending wedge there, and you can see we're actually posting ever so slightly higher lows. So we are now in a triangle, and this triangle is more than likely going to break down to the downside than it is to the upside. However, we do have some bullish momentum in the starting to creep in, and I'll show you that in just a minute. So in theory, we could wick down, like if we come down to 55,133, even 32,390, I kind of think it's not going to be trading there for too long. It'll just be going down and then scooching right back on up here. That's just my personal opinion. And you can beg to differ with me if you like. That's totally okay. But the reason why I'm saying that is we've spent almost, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 days above the golden ratio, forming this pattern, which is due to break out in the next couple of days. That's number one. The second reason I'm saying that is if we come down into the 1 hour and we bring in the Ichimoku cloud, the Ichimoku cloud of resistance is leveling out. You might get a little bit of a rise here. We've got a green candle, and then we might come back down again to retest this as support. So that's what we're watching. And also Mercury went retrograde on Monday, and usually Mercury retrograde signifies a trend, a direction trend shift. So we look like we've come out of this descending channel, which is a bullish pattern. We've come back down here, and really if we extend this, all we're doing here is we're retesting this previous resistance line as support. And if this plays out, then the first target is going to be 44,345. And I think, you know, that is a possibility that might happen. Oh, hi there. What would you typically be looking for after forming a head and shoulders and breaking down? Would you be looking for a trend change to the upside or a re-entry point? What would I be looking for? That's a really good question. And let me go over that in just a moment. Because are you looking at actually, let me just finish this and then I'll get back to you. Now, remember that if we come back up here and we're going to head to this target here of the descending channel, what we're going to be doing is breaking out of this bigger pattern, which has a really big, has a bigger target of 47,623. So that's kind of where I think we're at now. Do you want to, is it that user? Do you want to tell me if you're seeing head and shoulders in any of the coins? Because then I can just use that as a demonstration. I know that some people were thinking that this might be a head and shoulders here, right? Have a look at that. And then I can answer your question. We've got a shoulder here, a head here, and a shoulder there. Now, one of the reasons why I would observe this as a potential, and I would be looking to see if we break down below this golden ratio, we come back, test it as resistance, and then come back down. So it would look like this. We break down here, we turn around, do this as resistance, and then we come down there, and then, you know, then I think that that's possible that this might be a head and shoulders that could play out. But the reason why I don't think it's a traditional head and shoulders is because, number one, head and shoulders, the traditional head and shoulders are usually at the top of a run, and this has come down, and as we've come down, we've had a dump and gone into it, which means that statistically, the law of probabilities is that it's less likely to play out. The other reason why it's not strictly the best head and shoulders is because we've got these wicks down here. And normally head and shoulders is pretty good at touching the neckline at the shoulder, the head, the shoulder, and then the shoulder. You don't see all of this activity underneath it. But just let's say, for argument's sake, this plays out, what I would look for is a long at the bottom. And the reason I say that is because it's taking us down to 34,313, but we've got two support lines that it could bounce off of. And just in the last couple of months, all of the shorts that have played out have not actually reached their target. They've fallen short of their target, and a whole lot of people have got liquidated and they've lost money. So what I would be looking for is a good entry point for the long. And you can see there are some, like if we go below the golden ratio, here are some entry points here. And if that somewhat of an ugly head and shoulders, not perfect, plays out, that's about 34,313 as well. So that's what I'm doing right now, is looking for good entries for the long, because guys, we're coming to the bottom. We're coming to the bottom where we may never see these prices in Bitcoin again. So if we can get a strong, solid long position, we can ride it up till whenever. And in a moment, I'm going to show you the Bitcoin prediction for November for me, which is up there it's just up there. And I'll reveal that to you in a moment. Not right now on any coins. Okay, cool. So I just did Bitcoin because I knew that some people were talking about this as a head and shoulders. So bottom line, guys, you're looking for the best long position. And remember in the margin tips, and this is why I did margin tips this time around, dollar cost averaging in is a really good idea because you might miss the bottom. And so I would not be waiting for these lower prices that people are saying it could go to 29,000 and could go to these really long prices. And it's like, well, we've got the golden ratio here. And for 2.5 months, it was resistance. And for 2 months, it's now been support. So this is strong, and we need a strong reason for us to go below 40,000. A very, very strong reason, like massive manipulation, really bad news, not even China banning Bitcoin bought us under the golden ratio. So that could be the bottom. The other reason why I say that is if I bring in the support and resistance lines and see this line here at 40,750, we touched it here, we touched it there, we touched it there. These two are a double bottom. You could even argue this is a triple bottom. So we've already got a double bottom. So are we going to go below 4750? Possibly. We could come and touch this. We could go down to 40,000. But those lower ranges, I've got buy orders in for those lower ranges, but I'm not waiting to put a long in. I'm not waiting for the lowest price. I'm dollar cost averaging in, which means I got in at for 40,005. I've got buy orders in here. So I'm already in a trade right now, which is in a loss. Not in a loss, sorry, in a profit. If it comes down further, it could be into a loss, but I don't care. I'm just going to dollar cost average down so I can reassure that I'm getting the best position and I don't miss out. If you wait and wait and wait, it's going to go lower, it's going to go lower, it's going to go lower, then you could miss the boat altogether. Now, if you've been following this channel, we predicted the 7th of September dip, which was the beginning of the Shmita year. We started telling people about that as far back as June on this channel. We also predicted the 11th of September, the 15th through the 11th through to the 16th was going to be choppy. It was choppy, and we had 2 dumps that we also predicted because we're using astrology metrics. So we've been following Saturn retrograde. This year at the top in black, we went into retrograde on the 23rd of May, and the theme of Saturn, traditionally when I used to work in the stock market, we always looked at Saturn retrograde because we always saw a bit of a dump in the stock market whenever Saturn went into retrograde, and this year was no different. Look at this, we came dumping right into it. Last year in Saturn retrograde, we came dumping right into it. We traded sideways. Saturn retrograde's all about limitation, which was one of the reasons why I didn't think we were going to go low into the 20s, because Saturn limits how low we can go, and it also limits how high we can go. So we've been following this fractal. It's pretty similar to 2020. It's not exact, but it's pretty similar. Look at this. We got a rise here at approximately the same time we got a rise last year. We got this dump here. This was the dump there. And now this is where I think we are. I think we're doing these 2 red candles here. I think that's where we're at. And you can see that though they created a higher low, they didn't dip lower and go even lower than the actual average trading throughout those several months. So if we're following this fractal, we've got pretty strong support. Now, here's the thing. We go progressive on the 10th of October. 6th of October, Pluto starts moving forward, which is the god of the underworld. So we may see some disclosure happening next month of some bad doings that's been going on. But in the markets, it means we're starting to get some ease. We're starting to get some flow. And if you look at 2020, when we came progressive in Saturn, we came down just a little bit, but we didn't come back, creating another a higher low. We didn't come down to those lower numbers. But then, like a week after, we went parabolic. So this is where I think between the 10th and the 18th of October, there's a lot of magnetic energy in the stars to suggest that we are going, this is when we're going to get that parabolic run. And again, I'm going to show you where I think we could be at the end of October and the huge price hike that we can get to in in November. But let me just do Ethereum right now, because Ethereum is following a pretty similar pattern. We're in a triangle that's a continuation pattern to the upside on the weekly. We've come down through here in a channel, but we kind of found some support here, right, at about 2,800. So let's come down into the daily. And this is what I'm looking for in Ethereum as well. I'm not looking to short for the same reason. The shorts have been U-turning really fast. So if you're a scalper and you're experienced, you can catch the falling knife. That's really cool. But if you're not experienced and you don't really know where all your support levels are, then not a good idea. But look at this for Ethereum. We're going into a megaphone, like we're widening here. We also have an ascending triangle, which is a bullish pattern suggesting continuation to the upside with a 3,675 is the first target. But remember, this is a downward channel, and the target of that is the top of the channel. And that brings us to outside this big weekly pattern of 4,019. So I think we're looking for really good blue skies ahead with Ethereum. So interesting to note, Ethereum has a bullish pattern inside its downward channel, but Bitcoin has the opposite. If we were to use this line here as the bottom, and then this line here as the descending wedge, that's a descending triangle, breaks to the downside, statistically speaking, more often than it breaks to the upside, right? So, but at this stage, I think that Ichimoku and all my other indicators are showing a little bit more of a downward action and then a bounce back up, and it's similar for Ethereum. I'm seeing comments coming in, guys. I'm going to open those in a moment. Yeah, so look, all I think that's happening here, similar, that we've got a downward wedge, we broke out, we're coming back down to retest this as support. So conceivably we could go to 27.45, which is, I think I've got a cheeky buy order in. And I have got some lower just in case we go lower, but really this is a bounce back and bounce off. Now, the caveat on that is if a whale comes in and dumps, or we get price manipulation. But the technicals, especially the Ichimoku cloud, is showing we may come down a little bit, come back up, come down, and travel, sort of travel sideways until slightly up again for the next 8 hours at least. So let's just watch that. Let's go and have a look at the 15-minute and see what's going on. Yeah, the next 15 minutes, it looks like sideways and maybe heading back up and then before coming back down again. So look at this though, guys. The Ichimoku cloud red has just crossed over here, the green. So let's go down to the 5-minute to see if it's crossed back over. Yeah, so there is a little bit more downward action to go. So setting up for your longs. We want to look at, actually, what did I write down here? Let me write down here. I've got 27.45 and 2,600 to dollar cost average in. But if we get a bounce off of here, then obviously you would trade the bounce and you would wait until you had the second green candle forming with the Ichimoku cloud, a hint of green, so that we know that we've got continued upward motion to get into that long and ride it up to the top here, at least 31.60, if not 400. You might want to take some profit here just in case we reverse back down. That's kind of where I think that we're going. Let me have a look at some of these. Thanks a lot for the explanation and example. It helps a lot to be able to see actually on a chart. Yes, it does. Absolutely. You're going to learn so much more when you come to our 3-day event, not just from me, but from all of the other speakers and some top traders there. Have you looked into many altcoins, or do you only trade well-established coins? Good question. Bitcoin, Ethereum, XRP, ADA, Matic, Shiba Inu right now. What are the other ones? Actually, you can actually see some of them down here. Not in DOT anymore, not in Doge or DigiByte. I got out of those. And VeChain. On this channel, we do the technical analysis for whatever you're asking for, but we usually focus on Bitcoin, Ethereum, and XRP. And XRP is pretty much forming this cup and handles really big pattern. We're leveling off down here, finding a bottom, getting ready to take off big time. And we're almost, we're under the golden ratio. So there's a bit of resistance that we've got to follow. But that cup and handles, that takes us up to $1.98. So that's really awesome. So what did I say? Okay, my big announcement. Where do I think the price of Bitcoin can go in October and November? Now, this may look like a mess to you, so don't worry. I'm going to explain it. This is a chart of the increase and the decrease in price of Bitcoin month on month over from 2011 up to 2021. Now, what I want you to note is that here where we've got the blue, these are the years where we started bumping off of the bear market up into higher prices. And then 2013, 2017, and 2021 are the bull years, right? The years of the bull run. I want you to watch this. This is one of the reasons this channel didn't think we were going down into really low bucket shot prices. Over here, you will see I've got 8-4. This means there were 8 green months, 8 months where Bitcoin was in the green, meaning positive increase in price, and 4 months where we were in the red, meaning a negative increase, as in the price went down into the negative compared to the month before. For 2017, same, 8 months of green, 4 months of red. Here we are in 2021. We've only had 5 months of green and 3 months of red. It is more than likely that Bitcoin is going to close somewhere around 44,000 tomorrow. When we do the daily candle, it may be a little bit higher, but it would have to be up at around 48, I think, or 50,000 for us not to be negative and for this to turn green. But at the moment, it is looking like this is also a red month, which gives us a 4 over here, right? 5-4. And that leaves us October, November, December as green months, meaning the price is going to increase month on month above the months before. The other thing I want you to notice is this here in November, 451,000% increase in price. Now, if we take the averages of the highs and lows of each month and we average them out, this is what I've got down here, that would mean we could get to 71,000 in October. I doubt it, but we could. And then come back down to retest the all-time high at 65,000. But if we do just an average of a 53% increase, not a 451% increase in price, that takes us to over 100,000 in November. But if we do shoot up, because in each bull market, there usually is a pretty big runner, right? And this one was 451, which is just inconceivable, right? It just shot up like crazy. That would take the price of Bitcoin to 369,300. So these numbers are important to just file, because if you're looking at the top of the market might be November, December, January, you want to start thinking about your exit plan to start scaling out if we do get these really freak events. Because if we get a freak, if we go up to 102, we're going to come down again to retest some support level and go back up. And if you're watching this channel, you can be moving through that with us. If we go all the way up here, like the higher we go, the higher we fall, right? Could be even more. So knowing this means that you're not going to sell out when Bitcoin is at 120,000, when the potential is, you know, we could go to 360, you would scale out. So you might scale out 75% or 50% or 30%. or, you know, 90%, leaving 10% for that final crazy town rally if we get it. Now, we might not get it in November. It might happen in December. I don't know. But here's where astrology can help us. By the 18th, we no longer have Pluto, Saturn, Jupiter conjuncting each other in retrograde. They're all progressive. Jupiter on the 18th goes progressive. That's the planet of expansion. And Saturn's a planet of limitation. So that comes out on the 10th. So if we take the limitation off the energy of the market and then we add the expansion, that's when I think we're going to see the rally. That's when I think we're going to see, you know, like 10,000, maybe even 20,000 incrementals up in 1 day's worth of trading. So you want to be very mindful. You want to have your strategies, and you want to join our Discord server, because every day we're posting stuff in the Discord server in between the videos that we're posting up to alert people when there's trend changes or when there's massive takeoffs. And that can help you stay alert, because sometimes I know you're busy, right? And you just want to have a few channels where you're going to get those alerts to make sure that you don't miss out on this opportunity, because this is life-changing wealth. So this whole chart here, with all the macros in it, everybody who's coming to our Conscious Crypto event is getting this as a surprise gift at the end of day one. And I'm going to teach you how you can change this as the months go by. So we're also going to do 2022 so that you can follow this and have all of these just kind of update themselves so that you can use that in your planning. And it's just to be mindful of it. Like, it's not a prediction. It's more just be mindful that these are the patterns that are playing out. And if the minimum plays out, this is what we can expect. If the maximum plays out, this is what we can expect. If the average plays out, this is what we can expect. And that's going to help you make better trading decisions, and not think, oh, we're going up and up and up and we're never coming down again. And the next thing you know, we crash, go into the bear market, and you're holding all this coin, which 90% of the market does, because that's where the psychology comes in. People get greedy, right? And we're doing mindset in the Conscious Crypto event. So we want to make sure you've got the right mindset as well as the right strategy, so that you can do the very best to create that life-changing wealth. So the bottom line is, guys, we're setting up to get really strong positions at support levels to long, all the way up to the top. And you've got all those levels. We are posting levels live in the Discord server. So the link for that is below. The link to go to the to get your ticket, because tomorrow for the Conscious Crypto event, tomorrow is the last day that you're going to get it at half price. It's the end of the early bird special. The event is in 2.5 weeks' time. So it is recorded, so that if you miss any of the live sessions, you can watch the recordings. The only thing is you want to come live, because you're going to get to speak to the speakers, for those of you who are going to be participating in the Q&As. So that's it from me today. And next Wednesday, hopefully, Teresa will be back. Hopefully that's been really helpful to you. I think it is. Please let YouTube know that this video is worth getting out to as many people as possible. And if you're not a subscriber, subscribe, click the bell, hit all for our daily videos. We upload teaching you margin and spot trading, as well, and technical analysis, as well as our live streams. And I will be seeing you towards the end. Thanks so much. Late to the party, Kelly. That's okay. We'll be seeing you soon, guys. Bye.